I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Commissioners, and good morning, everyone else that is here in person. We welcome you to our November 12th Lincoln County Commission meeting. It is 8:30, and so we're ready to do our business for the week. We welcome all of those who might be also listening and streamlining the program that we have today in the meeting. So welcome. Let's go ahead and begin with item number one. Is there public input to approve the agenda? If not, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion.
Are we, if you're doing it now, can we move item 5 on consent down to regular business?
Okay, that is item number 5. Move it to regular business.
Please.
All right. Any other input? Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? If not, call a roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes, motion carried. Next, is there any public input on consent agenda items? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval. Second.
Okay, motion by Schmidt, second by Aaron's. Is there any discussion? Okay, call a roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes, motion carried. Let's go ahead and begin our regular business. First item that we have is you, Madam Auditor. So, thank you for.
Good morning. Tax deed property in Lenox, parcel number 250-4801-028. We did do a public surplus auction for it. We did not receive a bid that we could accept. So we're now asking, I sent a letter out to the properties that were contiguous to it to see if they had any interest in it before we tried to put it back out for public bid or anything else. I did receive one offer from a neighboring property to it from Julie and Travis Larson. They would like to purchase the property for $500. I did attach their offer. The reason for the $500 is the city is not going to waive any of the city taxes that are on there. So they'll end up owing the $1,900 in city taxes plus then the $500 that they'd pay us. So now I'm just asking that we accept Julie and Travis Larson's offer in the amount of $500 for the property located at 509 South Poplar, Lenox, South Dakota.
And you said this was the only bid that we received?
Yep. And I sent 3 letters to each parcel that's attached to it. If I wouldn't have received an offer from those 3 parcels, then we could have put it up for private sale.
The location is good, but the facility itself is lacking in structure, et cetera. So I guess, I don't know, I guess $500 is better than nothing. Is there any public input on this matter? If not, Commissioners, is there any motion at this particular time?
I'll move to accept a submitted offer from Julia and Travis Larson.
Okay, and then is your motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Landine and by Schmidt. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, go ahead and call the roll then, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes, motion carried. Next, again, Madam Auditor, to approve the 2025 pay matrix.
So in during the budget preparation, the Human Resources Department recommended a cost of living adjustment, the COLA of 3%. Inform the commissioners of the comparison. The approved budget for non-bargaining union employees was 3% COLA. adjustment with a 2.5% increase. The approved budget includes a 5% COLA adjustment for the non-FOP certified officers to align their wages with the unionized staff to prevent wage compression. The request is to approve a 2025 pay matrix with a 3% cost of living adjustment and a 2.5% step increase for non-union and county employees, and approve a 5% COLA adjustment for the non-FOP certified officers.
Okay, is there any public input on this matter? If not, are there any questions for our auditor from the commission?
Are all these numbers, these have all been checked and they're match up and they're correct? As far as the percentages, has anybody looked at it?
Well, the percentage, you mean, this is what was
Numbers
approved in the
themselves.
budget.
Okay, the numbers
This
themselves.
matrix was checked by Gene. There may be penny rounding errors throughout it, but otherwise, yeah, it was checked by Gene.
Okay.
The only question that I guess we had on there is the matrix dropped off the 118, which I don't know that we ever had formal action to get rid of that, but I guess if we went to rehire the commission officer, then we'd have to put the 118 back on there.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
I know it states the Human Resource Department made this recommendation. I guess you as the auditor, what is your recommendation?
This was what we budgeted for, so yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, is there any further discussion or questions you have for the auditor? If not, I guess we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'm sorry, was that a motion?
Yep, motion to approve.
A motion to approve by Landine, is there a second?
Second. This is what we budgeted for, right?
Yep, that was what was in the budget.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion by Landine, a second by Schmidt. Any other discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, moving on. Board discussion and action to formally approve elected officials' 2025 compensation.
So Tracy put together the elected official salaries, 5.5% increase. That is what we've been doing the last couple years, is we've been giving the elected officials that are listed here the same COLA and step that the employees are getting. Now, in the budget, we did budget 5%. But the difference between what Tracy has calculated and what we had budgeted is about $3,000. So if you went with the 5%, it'd be $3,045.67 over what was budgeted.
Is there any public input on this matter? If not, are there any questions for Sherry by the commission? I guess, so is this is the same percentage raise as everyone else? Or-
Yeah, yep, what the request is for the 5.5% increase. Keep it in mind that we budgeted 5%. Through all the times I've changed it, I didn't change the 5.5 for the elected officials, so we budgeted 5%. But to do the 5.5%, it would be $3,045.67 addition to the budget.
Okay,
Do you know where that got, I didn't realize that you guys, that wasn't the budgeted, that
Well,
extra 0.5%.
probably because it was such a, I don't know, my fault. I didn't put it in
Well, I'm
there.
not, I'm not trying to point fingers.
That's okay. You can point the fingers because I'm the one who prepared it, so I didn't put the 5.5 in there.
well, I guess, a 5% raise for someone who's making 50,000 compared to a 5% raise of somebody who's making 150,000, there's quite a difference there in the pay raise.
Why does the step increase get added into that?
What we've done over the last couple years is the 5.5%, so we just take the COLA and the step, what they're getting to prevent compression. because when a new elected official comes in, you do it on market and then just do the increase after. What we've done in the last couple of years is increase it by the percentage after.
We probably made some comparisons when we were working on the budget, but are we in line or over or under when it comes to
According
neighboring?
according to
counties?
Tracy's note here, it says these salaries are within the market of our comparable entities. So they are within the market.
Well, with that being said, I guess, if there are no other questions for the auditor, I guess then we're to the point where we have to entertain a motion.
Do you want public input first?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would you like public input first?
Yeah, I did ask for it once.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
I
missed it.
did right away, but I can ask for it again if there is someone who wants to comment. Okay. I guess we need a motion.
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Okay. A motion by Schmidt, second by Landine. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I say this every year, and I'm going to say it again. Appreciate the work staff did on this. I think when it comes to elected official pay, though, especially at the county level, or at least in this county, we should resist the effort to use, to set the salary based on market, in the sense of, let's say a new person gets elected to office. Well, we've seen in other counties where there is this effort to, where someone may not be the desired choice of the commission, and then they come in, and then their pay ends up being dramatically lower than what their predecessor was, even if their predecessor wasn't elected to office by the people, but was previously chosen by the commission. And I think the public has heartburn with that. I think elected officials ought to be paid based upon a set salary schedule. I don't care if you've been the state's attorney or the sheriff for 20 years, or if you're brand new, you ought to be coming in at whatever the set schedule is, just like it is in state government, because otherwise then it lends itself to creating the impression that people are playing favorites, and I don't like that. So I say that every year, and I'm saying it again this year, is you win the election, you get the salary. And the commission, and I'm not saying this commission did it, but in general, we shouldn't be playing favorites when it comes to elected officials. They win the race, they get paid the salary. End of story. So, but with that, I'll be supporting this because it does seem to be reasonable.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners have a comment? Okay, we do have a motion and a second. I think we're ready to vote, Alicia.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes, motion carries 4-0. Okay, next, I think we have Mr. DeGroot here talking about our commission administrative assistant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Drew DeGroat from the State's Attorney's Office, presenting what's kind of been a team effort. As Sherry indicated, the Commission Administrative Officer has been vacant. What this board action would do is, in effect, combine the Commission Administrative Office Assistant into one position that would take over some of the roles and responsibilities that the Commission Administrative Officer had, and along with the Assistant Commission Administrative Officer. There would be two actions that are required by the board. One would be to approve the new job description and title. The second one would be to determine which pay grade this position would fall under, a 110 or a 111. Currently, it is under a 110. As you can see from the facts and vetting, the comparables for the 110 pay grade as opposed to the 111. One could argue that this would be a reclassification of the position that would under the handbook, then it would require a pay grade increase. However, this commission at its discretion can either adopt those policies at its discretion, or it can take its own independent action absent the handbook policies. So it's up to the commission and a commission discussion or public input on how you want to move forward with this position. But I think this is a good change from what we've had currently with that position being vacant and Paul stepping up and taking on some of those roles and responsibilities.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. So if we approved a 110, then they're gonna get the step in January to a 111?
No, they would get their, whatever the step is right now would stay within that 110 pay grade. So,
Okay.
yeah, the pay grades are different, so it's
Okay,
110,
gotcha.
111, yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And this would become an exempt position under the new job description as well, due to the unique nature of the position. Late commission meetings, planning commission meetings, events that they're required to go to on behalf of the commission. So this would be created an exempt, and also some,
So you're saying it'll start December 1st or January 1st?
what's that?
This, if approved, this will begin December 1st or January 1st?
It'd become effective upon resolution.
Immediately?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
I know Commissioner Schmidt, you and I kind of worked on this
Yes.
with HR. Is there any comments you have?
Well, I think there's been some changes that were suggested to be made. You all have copies of that? I mean, do you want to go over?
I can pull it up, I guess.
If
Yeah.
you would,
Oh, yeah.
Drew? And there were some suggested changes that were made in the, do you have the,
I don't have the suggested changes. They're incorporated into the document as is. It was just some, I guess, scrivener's errors to some extent, and some other suggested changes. One, like I said, I think I ended up changing 5 words in the entire document or something like that. And so I sent it off to Commissioner Schmidt and Commissioner Gibbons. I don't have that in front of me, but
basically, it's semantics.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yep.
substituted, for example, just as an example, in essential functions, they kept talking about the county commission. I changed that to the Board of County Commissioners for clarity's sake. We tried to put this down that for at least when we're implementing this, is that Paul would have, in so many words, creating this position, but he would be executing at the discretion of the Board of Commissioners on what they wanted and at their direction. And I think some of his duties were to establish better communication. You can read all that. So I think that you may want to, I don't know that you need to have it complete, but if you haven't read it, I would encourage you to do that. But, you know, it's basically outlines what his duties are.
yeah. And then one of the responsibilities kind of taken over, excuse me, as joining those 2 positions is managing the processes and procedures of the commission office.
Yeah.
So that's one of the roles in there as well. And also managing press releases, social media on behalf of the board as well.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Schmidt. Any other questions for our Assistant State's Attorney?
Yep, so right now, Paul's at a 110?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, this time I'll ask for public input on the matter. Okay, guess seeing none, I guess we're ready to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would entertain a motion to accept the outline of his job description with the caveat that there may be a word or two that end up getting changed, but his present position at 110 remains there, Commissioner Landine, for a year, and then it's reviewed for its option to increase, correct? Is that what?
Do you want these as separate motions? Okay,
What?
so can we first, can we
Let's just
first
take-
do the motion on approving the job description?
You wanna,
That's my motion for the job description, Mr. Chair.
okay, Everybody understand what the motion is?
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, all right, any discussion? Okay, no discussion, no public input? All right, I guess then we're ready to vote.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes,
Gibbon.
Yes, motion carried. Next, as far as the second part of that then, correct?
yes.
Yeah, the second part would be, you said to make it a 110 classification, and it's an exempt position.
That's my understanding.
Okay, was that your motion?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Landine, second by Aaron's.
Actually, motion was Schmidt.
Oh, excuse me, Schmidt. Okay, is there any discussion? All right, any public input on that part? Okay, looks like we're ready to vote.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. All right, next, as far as Operation Greenlight, Mr.
No, you're
Excuse me, I forgot one.
Yeah, and
Board action to approve the wellness service agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, go
And I
ahead.
can present on this, because I did the review. This is just a renewal of our wellness service agreement with Wells 365. Provide services and life coaching to the employees of Lincoln County.
Okay, any questions for Drew? All right, any public input on that matter? I guess then we're ready for a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Schmidt, second by Landine. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes, motion carried. All right, now,
David.
we are ready for our Operation Greenlight. David?
Good morning. I'm David Ackley, Lincoln County Veteran Service Officer. So just here to speak for a few moments about Operation Green Light. You happened to notice this past week, the courthouse was illuminated with green lights. That's in support of the Operation Green Light for Veterans. It's a nationwide effort by counties, the National Association of Counties, and the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers. And last year, a resolution was made commemorating the Operation Greenlight for veterans. And so it's for all county buildings, landmarks across the country were illuminated green to show support for veterans and raise awareness around the resources available at the county, state, and federal levels to assist veterans and their families. And I would like to thank everybody that was involved, all the staff, grounds, John, his staff, commissioners, everybody that made it light up green. It was really nice to see and appreciate all the support for the veterans. And that's.
Thank you. Well,
You're welcome.
David, I drove down and it's kind of impressive to see that. It was
I agree.
kinda nice to see us honor the veterans and our courthouse in green. I like that.
Yep. that
You've been
is-
busy. Huh?
Yes.
I've been down there and, every time I get down there, you got people either sitting outside or you got somebody in your office.
We are keeping busy and doing a lot of outreach.
What are they coming in? What's the primary thing they come in for?
VA benefits.
VA benefits, housing?
Compensation, for disability compensation.
Is there any about housing? Did any of them ask about housing and things like that?
There is some. The resources, the VA has their HUD-VASH program, and then there's also mortgages. But I primarily see veterans for compensation, VA pension,
Okay.
and their families and dependents as well.
Have you been up to the veterans, housing project, the little projects, one-room housing
Tiny
things
House,
they have?
Veterans
Yeah.
Community Project.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I visited with them a couple times, and
Have you?
they're gonna be opening their village center, have a ribbon cutting soon.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the announcement on that.
All the houses were built in Harrisburg High School.
They did get 5 this past year that were built there, and
Yeah.
they had to set them on their parking lot because they weren't quite ready for the foundation yet.
That's kind of nice and impressive that
It
local
was.
kids got to do that.
So I'll be doing some outreach there when they have their village center open, because they have office space and like a grand room there that'll have opportunities for us to be able to meet with veterans there that might not be able to make it to the office.
It's pretty impressive.
It is.
Yes, thank you. I mean, that's nice that we participate.
All right. Thank
Any
you.
other comments or questions for David?
Thank you for your service, David.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, added to the agenda, moved from consent agenda is, I believe it is what, item number 5, approve memorandum of personal action, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so there was just, 2 that needed to get added to the document to avoid any, issues with back pay. So in addition to the document, and this will be added under reports for the next meeting, in addition to the existing document, there's also gonna be Heather Sayre, appraiser in the Department of Equalization, step increase to, 10813, effective 11/7. And Keith Holter, building inspector, code enforcement officer, and planning and zoning, effective the first biweekly pay period following 10/31, 108 grade 108/9, for that starting 10/31.
Okay, any questions?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any public input first, any? Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Aaron's, is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Landine, any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes,
Gibbon?
Yes. Motion carried. Next, let's move on now to, again, public input. Is there any particular subject that's not on the agenda that you'd like to speak about? Our timeline is approximately 3 minutes. Anyone have anything? Okay, I guess any commissioners
Yeah,
have
good mo-
anything to report on?
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, I went to the Harrisburg Veterans Day ceremony. Very good event. These schools, most of the schools all have school on Veterans Day. It's not a holiday for the kids. And in Harrisburg, they had all the classes attend, and they gave out some awards to these young kids who wrote some reports and essays on patriotism and all that. And I saw a couple Lincoln County employees there who were in the American Legion, so that was a great event, and that was at 9 o'clock. And then later that afternoon, I went down to the bridge naming ceremony held in Beersford, and Dave Eckley was there, and he was doing a great job of representing the county. I don't know if I didn't see any of you all there, maybe you were, but here was my takeaway from the event. There was a couple things. So we had a bridge naming for this young gentleman, soldier. He was in the Army in Vietnam. His name was First Lieutenant Joseph Thorne. He's a Beersford native, grew up right there in Beersford. He graduated high school there. He was a standout football player both in high school and at SDSU. And he was so good that he was drafted by the Green Bay Packers when Vince Lombardi was the head coach. And what happened is Joseph Thorne decided not to show up for training camp, and instead he opted to go to Vietnam. And he received a phone call from Vince Lombardi himself, and he said, "Why aren't you showing up?" And he said, "Well, because I want to go serve my country." And First Lieutenant Thorne went over to Vietnam, and he was first assigned to fly a helicopter to deliver mail around the country. And he said he wanted some action, and he volunteered to be an assault helicopter pilot. And he ended up becoming the first South Dakotan killed in Vietnam. And his name is on the Vietnam Memorial Wall in DC, and it's number 21. So the Thorne family was there, some of the relatives and whatnot, and it was a very good ceremony for the family and for the community. Governor Nome wasn't there, but her husband was speaking on her behalf, and he gave a very good speech, and they recognized First Lieutenant Thorne, and they showed the big sign that was going on the bridge and everything, and it was a very good event.
Well, thank you for attending. Any other commissioners have anything to report?
The chamber every year puts on a event at the, I think they did it at the Alliance, or it was at the Alliance this year. Usually they had it at a high school. Very well attended. The mayor was there. Many of your elected officials were there for that. One thing also, just for every year, as a legislators start to prepare for their session coming up here in January, the county association usually has several items that they're going to lobby for, and they've lobbied for additional funds for roads and for bridges and this year, the main emphasis is going to be on one thing, and that is for indigent defense, for the state to set up the ability to take over all of the responsibilities from the counties ultimately for individuals that have no means of having any money or any money for their own defense. I talked with Representative Jensen on the matter, and he is involved in that, and his position is he's in favor of that, not necessarily to create a bureaucracy, but I mean, it's how much money can the counties actually entertain to offset some of the expenses that you have for defending these individuals that have no means. So, but that's our only agenda this year. It's the lightest agenda I think we've had for years and years and years. So
Okay,
we'll see how well that goes over.
thank you. That being said, no other items. Drew, do we have an executive session?
Yes, under 125.
135?
125 to sub 3.
Okay, that is item number 2, correct?
Correct.
All right, and Southeast District meeting Thursday, okay, that's one of the upcoming events, excuse me. So, yeah, consulting with legal counsel and reviewing communications with legal counsel about the proposed or pending litigation or contractual matters. All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second, motion and second by Landine and Aaron's. Any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's? Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes. Okay, we are in executive session.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
By Schmidt, do I have a second?
Second.
By Aaron's. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes, motion carried. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Landine. Any discussion? Call the roll?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Gibbon?
Yes, motion carried. We are adjourned.